It's one of those things.
I don't think so.
I didn't want to just, I looked up all their phones, all their internet, all their computer stuff and everything else like that today. It's
I was
something.
thinking, I didn't even go in, a couple of turns off the cable and it was static across the line.
I was really, working on some of the stuff today, and I thought, oh, how do I do this? What do I gotta do here? But I think cable's got it down pretty good. All they gotta do is flip switches. They don't need to show up anymore. I took care of it.
I know, isn't that something?
Unbelievable.
They send the tests and everything in.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know the names. They're from, I believe they're from Troy, huh?
Okay. Did they come in yet?
No, they got the closing.
Well, that's exciting.
It is, yeah. They'll do it.
They don't.
Jill.
For a lot.
This year, I don't think so. Oh, okay. So when they did everything.
I haven't heard that. When did that just happen? Here they are.
Just like we are live.
Yeah, well. Live on YouTube.
I can text them.
Thank you, George. Yeah, you're more than the retired 60. You can text.
I don't want to get over.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there it is. Stop.
And then just set it down there and let the other just stop.
I just didn't want to forget.
I have 7 o'clock. So, I'll call the meeting to order. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Mayor Walter,
Present.
Councilman Torricello.
Present.
Councilwoman Bowden.
Present.
Okay, before we start the meeting, I'll ask everybody to please rise and we'll respect. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'll ask the clerk to read the minutes of the previous meeting, please.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we dispense with the reading of the minutes of the May 6th meeting.
And I'll second it.
All right, motion's been made and second. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Councilwoman Dodd?
Favor?
Councilman Tonicello? In favor. Mayor Patricelli?
In favor. Are these mics?
What's up?
The mics. No. Oh.
Red light's on now. Yes, yes, yes.
There you go.
Yep, okay, good. Okay, well, yes, General Manager, give us the reports on officers and committee, please.
All right, I'll start with some personnel changes that are being made, and they'll be effective June 7th, which will be Monday. We hired a sanitation worker, Joey Fiacco. He'll be an addition to the sanitation department. We also have a senior accountant in our finance starting, it's Jenny Marzio. She'll be starting June 7th as well. Then in the finance department, we also brought back part-time Marlo Ellis she was within our clerk's office, and we moved her up to finance to help move things along. In our code department, the June 5th, this Saturday, we're holding our code enforcement exam. We have 4 people on the list to take that, so hopefully we'll have some good qualified candidates coming out of that for us to add a person back in that position. And we also brought back part-time Steve Hoffman to help us with some of the backlog that is happening with some violations and so on. That's for personnel. On some of the things going on within the city, of course, we saw paving happening on Broadway along our bike path. It seems like they're ahead of schedule. They just started on Monday, and they just completed phase 3 of the milling tonight. So it looks like they're a little bit ahead of schedule. Hopefully with the upcoming rain, that doesn't push us back in any way, shape, or form, but I know the intent is to start hopefully paving later on tomorrow. So let's see that they maintain that. Onto our pool, I know it's been closed last year due to COVID, but the pool is completely scrubbed now. We just finished that up this evening. We had a couple of guys from our Department of Public Works assist Brandon, who's done a diligent effort in cleaning that up. I was over there this afternoon about 4 o'clock, and they were at the final part of the D-end wall, putting everything down the drain to get that running. We've had our first quarter of chlorine delivered on Tuesday, so we're ready to start filling the pool, and hopefully that'll happen tomorrow and have that ready for Monday, running through completely for a week. Get our lifeguards trained. Speaking of lifeguards, and of course, Chartrain has had she has 5 lifeguards to date, and we also hired a gentleman by the name of Michael Gallo, who will oversee the entire operation of the city pool system for us. So we'll be sure to learn from him and keep things moving as we go forward. So I'm really excited to have the pool up and running again this year.
Are we all set with lifeguards?
As far as I know right now, Chris has 5. I think there's 2 more that we're going to try to train under Mr. Gallo and go forward from there. And that will be 7. But also Michael does this with another location, so he has access to other lifeguards. Should we ever have people fall in or fall out, then he can grab people to say, you might get a few hours over here to see what we. So we should have enough to run the pool successfully in the summer.
No anticipated opening date?
I think we opened up the 28th there.
Yes, it was the 20, it was announced as 20.
Yeah, June 28th. Got two more things. I'm sure everyone has seen the Bell Memorial coming out of the ground. I want to give a thank you to the mayor. I know this has been his project that he's been shepherding through the process, but steel finally was erected early in the latter part of last week, and we have the framework now to do that. We're going to start to see some electrical work tomorrow. We have an 8 o'clock meeting with our electrician and CDTA to see if we can work that electrical up from them, and that should be the last infrastructure component needed, and the rest is going to be installation and landscaping. And then lastly, we submitted a grant to Senator Breslin, who was very kind to us in last year's Sam's round. We put in for 4 items. We're hoping to find out what we'll have coming back from him. I know he's anxious to try to assist the city where possible, so hopefully that great round will plan and we're successful. That's surgery grant.
4 different specific projects.
4 specific items. Yeah.
Okay. Is that how they do them in the Senate? Is it up or down on each particular project, or is it just a lump of money?
I think the Sam's grants became the old member items. So Sam's is Senate and Assembly, I think they each get an allotment of money that they put in their own districts.
Can I go? Okay.
Yeah.
You just reminded me something. So when you said memorize, did you ever get any word from Senator Gillibrand's office about the application that the senator was going to have concerning the solar panels project?
Not from Senator Gillibrand, but I did have a conversation with Congressman Taco
Okay.
on Memorial Day weekend.
Okay. See that the hose is going through it.
Yeah, the hose is going through, but he also said that if the city is very serious about following this up, to be in touch with him. Because there may be other funding grounds that he can go towards.
I think he's on the environmental committee, subject chair.
Yeah, he was very excited to learn that we have been considering that. And he said, keep us in mind and move forward.
Okay. Do you ever need any help on that? Whatever, I would like to be a part of that.
That's
Can I ask a question? In regard to the structure of the bell, is there going to be a roof on it or not?
yes. Yes.
Thank you.
I have one other question, just while I got you, okay? And it has to do with it looks like a private residence on 19th Street, just below 9th Avenue, that has signs taped on the front that says grand opening and some sort of boutique.
In-home boutique.
Boutique or something like that.
In-home boutique.
My feeling is they probably should have some sort of license or some sort of provision from the city. Has anybody from codes looked into that, or have they seen that or noticed that? Or if they haven't, would you please look into that?
We will.
I don't know the exact address. It's just east of.
Right on Clinton.
Yeah.
It's on.
I think Wall is aware of it.
It's already cut.
I've already been told on it.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks.
Sign's been there for better than a week. I thought it was a birthday party after that.
One other staff change you said to Joe is that we promoted Matt Bremer to sergeant.
Oh, yes.
Sorry about that. Getting onto back to the pool, just a minute, was on Sunday, the Eagle Scout is going to start painting the chain link fence at the pool. They're going to start cleaning the weeds out or whatever, and start the painting process to paint that pool. The chain link fence dinner. The Memorial Day ceremony I thought went well. Seemed very nice. It was a perfect day for it. Probably about 67 attended. So I thought those that attended the ceremony itself, I thought was pretty nice. Regardless of that we had a parade or whatever, but the ceremony itself really did a nice job on that.
And the DPW people did an awesome, those guys did an awesome job in the park. They really, they worked their tails off. It looks great.
It looked good, yep, very good.
Kudos to them.
Say one more thing, I want to say thank you, Councilwoman Diamond, for contacting the,
Well,
contacting the
thank you, that's
state.
not why I said it. The
I know,
DPW
but-
guys did it all. They really.
Getting involved, well, no, with that, but also you contacted the state, you got them up and moving on 787 to clean a lot of garbage, and trash that were along the fence on both sides of 787, particularly the side, near Hudson Shores Park, so that was a good job.
Thanks. We'll try to keep that up.
Yeah, try to keep try to keep it up.
Thank you.
Looks good. The, couple other things, Joe, was, the tree grant, National Grid trees, was approved. We know that we have 4 trees that is gonna be delivered, out of the 100, I believe it's 110 trees that we'll be receiving, from National Grid. We do have a share, we have to do some of the manual work on it, but they're providing the trees, to $100 a tree or whatever it is. So we're having 4 trees, delivered within, as soon as the poles are done, and then as the inventory comes in, we'll be able to plant the rest of them. And we are going to be going to bid for the stump removals. We have how many? Almost 200? So we have about 219 stumps throughout the city. It's the city's policy before, we really require a stump to be removed. So we have a grant now to go out and get a bid on as many stumps as possibly can to remove them.
That's good.
So that'll be a nice. I don't know if you want to make a mention before we get into it, but Chief not being here, I know he had some personal things he had to do, but we did have that shooting on Saturday. Yes, and I think it should be kind of addressed, in some way, shape, or form. It should be at least said, that there is an investigation. They are on top of it. I know that there are other agencies working with on it. Nothing that I know has been established yet, but we do have some progress on it. Not that it's something that we thought we'd ever be talking about here at a council meeting, but I guess that's where we are.
Part of the follow-up with that is, Chief and I were trying to get the landlord in to talk with him about landlord responsibilities. I know the gentleman is typically off Wednesdays and Thursdays, so unfortunately we're going to move that to next week. We will be getting him in, have a follow-up meeting with Robert Cordell, the contractor we brought in to revitalize or rewrite our property management policies and procedures within our code book. I have a meeting with him tomorrow at 12:30, specifically to talk about this incident that happened and what we can write into the law to assist at that point in time. So we're going to stay on top of that, Mayor.
What's the status of the tenants of that apartment? Are they there?
Yes, yes.
And the other, anything else?
No.
And the other thing, I mean, this is our first meeting since the issues that we've been having at Brotherhood Park. That we took down the hoops. It was a tough decision. It was, something, some people think that was a knee-jerk reaction. They're not knee-jerk reactions. I feel that it needed to be done. The park itself, it's certainly vastly quieted down, at least a major amount of it, and the issues that we had because of the hoops attracting the large number of kids that were there, and they caused the problems, especially when the kids were playing T-ball. So it was, I think it was the right thing to do, and if we decide to put them back up after Little League is done, we'll have to play by ear for that.
Have you had any response from the people who run the Little League and some of the?
There's not one person that's involved in the Little League, either as a parent or as a board member, that was opposed to that hoops with that. They felt it was the best thing that we ever could have done for the safety of their kids and for at least the kids themselves to be able to play there without having a big issue. I was there a couple of nights. I worked at the concession stand one night, watched them. I haven't been there every night, but I'm in contact with board members and Yeah, they're, okay.
So they're good.
And as far as the other parks, I don't believe that there's been any change in usage of the other parks other than regular, this is the springtime and summertime of the year, so, we'll have to handle that as they approach it themselves. All right.
Thank you.
Question I have, is there a curfew at the park?
There is no curfew. There's nothing that we have in the charter or anything at all that has a curfew. There's a time that the park closes, which is, I believe, 10 o'clock. I believe that's the time that they close. But the issues that we were having were at 10 o'clock. They were at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock while the kids were there.
Is there any management of the park? Is anyone assigned to look over what goes on there or not?
No.
Thank you.
Okay. There's nothing else under the committee discussion. We'll go into old business.
Your Honor, there is no old business on this evening's agenda.
All right. And I'll ask for a new business then, please.
The first order of business under new business is resolution number 9822, which is a resolution amending the annual budget for 2020.
Your Honor, I'll make a motion that we address resolution number 9822.
And I will second it.
I'll ask, I'm assuming Amanda's here to explain it. Go ahead, Amanda.
So this is a annual thing that we do to make sure that we're not overexpended in our various funds. You will see a bunch of decreases in the first part for the general fund. Most of those are various salary lines due to vacancies in several departments. You'll also see decreases in other normal operating expense lines. We had stopped several projects, pool, to save money and due to some lack of staffing and gas prices being low in 2020 also helped quite a bit. Another big note, we decided to go self-insured for workers' comp in 2020. We decided that in late December 2019. So at the time when the budget was passed, we hadn't accounted for that. However, per recommendations from the FRP, those savings should go toward a reserve until we are properly funded. So you will see the expenses increasing for that later on. We'll also note that there's some increase in revenue lines, starting with the fire department grant and ambulance revenue, as well as TDE, which is our police seizure funds. If you notice, the TDE stuff is highlighted in orange so that you can see that it is a dollar for dollar match. It didn't cost us anything to do that. It's just we don't budget for those revenues or expenses because they're not guaranteed. So moving on to the expenditures, I'm just going to hit the big dollar items. First line is the salary for the general manager and second, secretary. At the time when we passed the budget, we did not have a general manager selected in December 2019. So we didn't know what salary to put in, so we had to adjust that. Next is about $40,000 for increased litigation costs. The city, as you probably know, is involved in several litigations and it's costly. Moving down, you will see an increase to the liability costs, about $18,000. Part of that is due to cybersecurity policy, as well as an increase in overall insurance policy. There is also an increase to a gas line that is my budget fault. I did not pick that up, it was new.
I didn't hear you. What was
The gas line is $13,000. I missed it in the budget symbol, it's a new account. per OCS guidelines, we have to show a revenue and an expense line. And, we need to show the expense. Previously, we just netted it. Going down further, you'll see the police operations account increased by $19,000. We had costs of $14,000 for snow emergency tows. I know people think that we make money on snow emergency tows when we charge fees. We don't. So please move your cars. In addition to that, there was a rather expensive biohazard cleaning and.
I mean, if you speak more to, Paul's having trouble.
Yes,
I'm not doing that yet.
okay.
In addition to the snow emergency tows, there was some supplies that were normally taken out of the TD budget that did not come out of that. Biohazard cleaning as well. Then you will see the TD expenses, as I had mentioned before. They equal exactly the TD revenue on the front page. Next, you'll see fire department overtime is up about $160,000 over budget. A good portion of that is due to the fire department grant. We got $110,000 for that. The city does have a match, so we owe some of that, as well as one of the fire department members being out long term. Continuing with the fire department, there is increase to the vehicle maintenance. There was an accident in 2020 that cost $28,200. We did receive money back from our insurance company, but we have to, again, show the expense and the revenue in separate lines, so we do have to do this. Again, in 2020, we had vehicle repairs in excess of the budget of $18,800. For our highway department, our trucks are getting older and they need to be repaired. To move down the list, retirement is $61,000 over budget. I adjusted the allocation for attending the water fund and the sewer fund and the general fund, what I think is a more accurate allocation. So it's showing more in the general fund than in the budget. We'll also note that there is an increase to unemployment. In 2020, there was several former employees that claimed unemployment, as well as furloughing employees that caused us to have to pay unemployment. Next, you'll see Medicare reimbursement. This is payments to our unions that we hadn't budgeted for because we were not expecting to pay them. It was a part of our litigation. And then last, you'll see a transfer to the workers' comp reserve of $251,900. That's all the general fund.
And can I ask you just,
Sure.
I'm confused about the $160,000 for the
Fire department?
the fire department. Can you just explain that,
Sure. So if you look at the revenues,
right?
you're gonna see $110,353.93
Right.
on here. That's for the fire department grant.
That's the grant that we received.
Yep, so we have two guys that are going to school and, that causes overtime.
Okay.
So that's part of it. And the other part is there, I believe the entire year has been someone out,
Some sort of medical or something?
I would call it administrative.
I understand that, yeah, okay, thank you.
thank you.
I was trying to think of the word.
Yeah, I rings a bell now, okay, I got it. So we're,
So we have to pay someone to cover
I got
every
it.
single shift.
I got it.
That person.
so we received $110,000, so that number in effect is like a $50,000.
Correct.
Whatever, okay, that's what I,
But I have to show the expense
Yep.
and revenue.
okay, thank you for explaining, thank you.
The water department. Again, the decreases to expenses were mostly just projects we put on hold or vacancies within the department. In addition to that, we had budgeted for band payments instead of bond payments. Kind of just semantics. It's the same, it's not the same thing, but they're both loan payments. We changed it from a band, which is a bond anticipation note, into an actual bond. So they're on different lines. So in the increases, we had an increase in engineering costs. We had an increase to our hydroelectricity, with the hydro being down and it was being worked on. We have to pay for electricity, which we usually don't have to pay for because we get an offset when the hydro is working and we get that revenue. We put in security cameras in a few places, including with the pump station and the hydro. We purchased a Ventrac system. We have a final payment on our linker. We go down to the 17.9. We had some work done at the end of the year to 10 13th Street and some work on Wismore that was unexpected. You'll also see the bond payments I was talking about corresponding with the band payments and a transfer of $125,000 to the workers' comp. I'm sorry, transfer of $113,000 to the workers' comp reserve and $125,000 to the water. Last is.
That was from the water fund to the general fund.
Yes.
And that was to offset some of the losses that we incurred while we were going through COVID, or the loss of the sales tax.
Correct. Sales tax, state, aid, what it is. Last is our sewer fund. We had a decrease in our expenses going to the sewer district. This number is kind of like throwing a dart at the board. We don't necessarily know what it's going to come in at. It depends on how much it rains and how much water sent down to the sewer processing system. So we had over budgeted $13,000 for that. And we're also decreasing our expense for workers' comp. Because as I said, we moved to a self-insured plan. And then on the increase side, we're increasing retirement, as I had said with the general fund, I adjusted the allocation to what I believe is more correct allocation. And we're transferring the extra budgeted amount of workers' comp expenses to the workers' comp reserve. Any questions?
No, thank you.
So this basically close out 2020.
Oh, and I will be having a report next council meeting on 2020 and to also hopefully update you on 2021.
We were going to have a budget comparison for 2021 today, right? Or that was what was planned for today. We weren't. So that'll now be next meeting.
My apologies.
It was on. Like this.
Just one person, sorry.
You got a new staff now.
She starts Monday.
Starting on Monday,
Yes.
right? Good for you.
All right, there's no other questions. That's for a motion. Call the roll, please, yeah.
Councilwoman Diamond,
In favor?
Councilman Torricella,
In favor.
Mayor Patricek.
In favor.
Resolution number 9823 is a resolution scheduling a public hearing for the purpose of hearing public comments on the city of Watervliet's community development needs and to discuss the possible submission of one or more community block grant applications for the 2021 program year.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we move on resolution 9823.
I'll second that.
Joe, do you want to explain that, or?
Dave, this is yours.
Sure, I can. So what this is the CFA Consolidated Funding Application is open. And applications are due in July. So this is to have a public hearing on the proposed applications that the city is going to submit. And to get input from the public as to what they, their thoughts and their comments on those applications. And I believe also after that, we will have a resolution advising them, that the mayor can submit those grants and accept those grants as well as the next. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, are these grants for home improvement? Is that the idea?
These are like for public facilities, correct?
Oh,
Public facility, public works,
thank you.
Yeah, these are not private citizens who are requesting, money for upkeep to their private businesses or something like that. These are city properties, that's the city.
depending on the type of grants that we're looking to apply for, it could be for private businesses. If we apply for a Main Street grant or a micro enterprise grant or something like that, that would affect private business ownership.
But the city makes the application. Private.
Yes.
The private, business owner doesn't make the application.
That's correct. This is all involved with the city's applications.
Okay. If there are no other questions, I'll ask for a roll.
Councilwoman Diamond,
Favor?
Councilman Torricella,
In favor.
Mayor Patricek.
In favor.
Resolution number 9824 is a resolution scheduling a public hearing regarding the City of Watervliet's Public Facilities Grant number 1210 PF 64-17 for work done at the Watervliet Community Center located at 1501 First Avenue, Watervliet, New York, 12189.
Your Honor, I'll make a motion, we move on resolution 9824.
I will second it.
Explain that.
This is a second public hearing in accordance with the CDBG guidelines. Previously, we did have a second public hearing. Joe and I sat through a monitoring process with the Office of Community Renewal, and they have requested us to have another meeting and explain everything to the public.
All right. Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilwoman Diamond,
Favor?
Councilman Torricella,
In favor.
Mayor Patricek.
In favor.
The last item on the agenda is resolution number 9825, and this is a resolution appointing Matthew Beagle to the City of Watervliet Tree Committee.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we move on resolution number 9825.
I'll second that.
This is actually filling the vacant spot that we had when we created 5 committee members on the tree committee. And I think that now leaves us with 1 opening now since our chairwoman has stepped down. So this will leave us with 4 members of the tree committee with Matthew.
Okay. If there's no other questions, I'll call the roll, please.
Councilwoman Diamond,
Favor?
Councilman Torricella,
In favor.
Mayor Patricek.
In favor.
Your Honor, that concludes the new business for this evening's agenda.
The only other item I think I want to bring up right now is basically in light of the, the budgets that we have to, is just making the council aware of mutual aid costs. And we do have mutual aid with some of the neighboring cities. But you do know that it comes at a cost to the city, because every time we respond to a fire, it reduces the overtime that we have. And the numbers, I did get a report, I asked for a report, I'm just trying to get it verified, but, it's up there in the neighborhood of about 20,000 just for the basic year that we've been involved in.
Is that out of line with other years?
Don't know, I don't believe that anybody's ever, looked at analysis before or asked for it before. The big thing is that, I think the mutual aid is a great tool, needed item, but it does come at a cost. So I think, I'm gonna share that numbers with you later and then, go from there and discuss it at a future date. If you had any comments or thoughts on it.
It certainly works to our benefit when there's something here and we need help from other.
Yes. But there's a minus and a plus on both sides.
Yep.
I think that's the numbers when you look at it. We're not, I don't think there's no way, shape, or form we're talking about not having mutual aid. I think we're talking about the cost. Just understand, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. But I just wanted to make that thought process. All right, if there's nothing else, I think you shared those appropriations in the county. If you're done with that, right? Okay, then I'll ask Dave to open up the public comment period, please.
At this time, the mayor and the council have authorized the public hearing. We ask that you state your name and address for the record. You'll have 2 minutes with which to address the council. Any items you wish.
Paul Duban, 1500 12th Avenue, Watervliet, New York. I was wondering whether any new developments with Chase Company?
As far as the downtown revitalization,
Yes, correct.
we were trying to get him positioned for, tonight, but we're actually doing that on the 17th. We'll make a presentation on our DRI application. I know that's gonna be in its final draft. And we're actually gonna try to hold a public meeting at 6 PM. So we could have an open meeting prior to the council.
Yes, you mentioned that once before.
Yeah, we're trying to get him positioned for tonight, but we just weren't able to.
I was wondering whether it's a dead issue or whether.
No, it's June 17th, we're gonna be 6 PM. And we'll have that up on our website.
You answered the question in regard to Curfew Park. Now, the last thing I'm going to mention, I'm a bug on it, is I'm hoping to raise the manholes. I know it's in process right now. I hope it's in a contract, they have to raise the manholes.
Well, I went over Broadway and I tried to hit every manhole I could.
Very good, Mayor, thank you.
With you in mind.
Thank you, I'll be on top of it, thank you.
I can report that Dave Russell, we went through that, Mr. Yvonne. We were
Pardon me,
going
sir?
through that, Dave Russell walked the street with the engineer and with Louisi Brothers. And they showed which ones had to raise and so on, so.
Well, I hope, previous to now, the city was addressing, putting the rings on.
Yeah.
That's not the way to go, really. It should be in the contract. Because why should the city tie up the guy to be ready to do that if they're blocked out?
Yeah, I think the only one we agreed to be doing, was the one right out here in City Hall. Everything else was handled by the contract.
Fine, thank you.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think Colony is already addressing the ones on 8th Avenue.
I believe, yeah, I was down 8th Avenue today and it was coming out.
They're already addressing the manholes and manhole covers and on 8th Avenue from First Street to 8th Street.
And the cost of that actually came in, we were anticipating that was gonna be 80,000 last year, which is inclusive of our curbing and, or our drop curves for the sidewalks. That actually came back this year at $50,000. So we actually kept 30,000 in our, chip fund.
Do we have a date for that? Any kind of target date?
Jack Cunningham, who's the Commissioner of Public Works up there, he says as soon as he gets it on their schedule, the way they do things in the town is they got something like, it's like 1.9, almost $2 million of paving money that they do. And they grade all their streets. And then they'll come out with what they have, the top 15 or the top 20, 21. And as they go forward, And as the money frees up, they start to move and shift the streets around. So I won't know until probably like about 2 weeks ahead of time, once they decide a date.
But you're confident.
Do we think it'll be this
Another
summer?
20
We're guaranteed, that's what I have to put an MOU on for next meeting, that we have to get ready, and they're preparing the language for that now. But it's definitely going to be 2024.
Maybe we're in that top 10.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not gonna guess, I don't know, but.
Unfortunately, we're at
That was all.
their phase.
Maybe they have one.
Anything else before the council? And then I'll ask the public hearing to be closed and a motion to be made. Like this. Close the public hearing. All right. All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion to adjourn, Your Honor.
I'll second that.
Call the roll.
Councilwoman Diamond,
In favor?
Councilman Porcello, Mayor Patricek.
In favor.
Code
Okay,
enforcement.
thank you, everybody. I'll see you, June 17th.
Durden was always, but I had a question. I didn't do anything. We'll close the first. Okay, we got a clarification. I asked a question.
The show all zeros?
I'll show you how to do it.
Okay.
No. I'll watch you.
Okay.